Jasmine, Eris and Jasmine, y'all. And oh my goodness. Oh, I really want to be excited for these two. I really want to be excited. Really want to be excited that maybe they've turned a corner. And Eris has finally gotten reprogrammed. iRobot is finally reprogrammed, and some good data is coming out. I couldn't believe that Eris rubbed Jasmine's feet this episode. I can't believe Eris has rubbed Jasmine's feet. Let me tell you, rubbing feet is very sensual and sexy. Very sensual and sexy. And I am so surprised that he even did that, because we know Eris likes to sit back and receive everything, tell you what to do for him. Feed me grapes. Remember, feed me grapes, feed me lobsters. Do this or do that. And he actually this week actually did something and rubbed Jasmine's feet. I tell you, he's on the after party, and Keisha Knight Pulliam's husband's on there, and also Jasmine's on the after party. It's like 2 segments. This was an hour long of this episode. And one of the things Keisha Knight Pulliam's husband told Jasmine, that Eris is sending all the strong signals that he wants you to go for it and make a move. He wants you to go for it and make a move. And I don't think Jasmine was reading the signs, but I don't know, that's good. I wouldn't want Jasmine putting herself out like that, but you could tell that this episode, I don't care even if Eris was going to say no to Jasmine. He was ready to hit it. Eris was ready to hit it this episode, because for the first time, I saw Eris's eyes light up when he looked at Jasmine. There was a scene in the bedroom. Here's the picture right here. When they were in the bedroom and they had done a little tickle thing on the feet, and she was like, "Are you ticklish?" And I was like, "Jasmine, robots don't get ticklish." She was like, "Are you ticklish? Does it tickle you?" And he was like, "No, maybe if you rubbed it on my, what's it called? The gooch." I had never heard that either, the gooch. And he says, "Maybe if you rub the gooch, then I'll be tickled." Girl, Jasmine, you know robots aren't ticklish. You have to program that into him, what part to be ticklish, and come back in another week and let that program download, and then he'll be ticklish. Because that's how Eris works. Eris works by programming him. That's how he works. He learns from being programmed. When they went to this soothsayer, and Lord, they got the church girl, the Peaky girl, going to the soothsayer. First, I was going to get mad about it, but then I realized Jasmine was the one that wanted to go. Okay, so we got the church girl on the pole and going to the soothsayer this episode. You know what? I was feeling some kind of way. First, I was feeling some kind of way, but then I thought, you know what? She is married to the man. Okay, if she want to do the pole, she want to do that, go girl, do whatever you want to do. She did well. She did good. And then she went to this soothsayer. And that soothsayer said, "This is a good man right here." First, I was like, what kind of soothsayer is this? She said, "This is a good man right here, but he's got a lot of growing up to do." A lot of growing up. He's 40. He's already a 40. How long do I have to wait for him to grow up and be husband material? He's 40 years old already. What, we're going to have to wait till he's 45 or 50? She said he's got a lot of growing up to do. I believe it. I believe it, because what I believe is all these years, Eris has not dated any woman of any substance. I'm telling you that right now. All these years, Eris has never dated a woman of substance. And you see these type of men. I'm older. You start to see these type of men when they get around Eris's age. And it's almost like a person who's older, you know, and you look at maybe their career hasn't progressed, but they're 40 years old and they kind of wish they had a better career, but it was because, you know, they spent so much time maybe not working, or maybe they were underemployed, or, you know, whatever. So then when they get to be 40, 45, they feel as if they're not where they want to be in their career. That's Eris and dating. Eris wasted so much time in the dating world, dating frivolous women, more than likely not that many serious or intelligent women. And what those women didn't do for him, it was they never made him a better person. Because one thing that's supposed to happen in relationships is that you are supposed to make the other person better, and you're supposed to get better. Iron sharpens irons. And you could tell that Eris is showing up in this marriage at 40 years old with very little lessons. That's why I said, that's why now he wants everybody to program him. Tell me what I need to do. It's almost like a student that missed all the classes. They showing up in the last week of school talking about, give me the cliff notes, tell me everything I want to know. Well, it's too late. You mean in the last 4 days of this marriage, now all of a sudden Eris is starting to show signs that he's willing and ready to learn? Well, why didn't you learn 40 years before you got here? You've been dating since you've been 20. So for 20 years, you haven't learned nothing about dating. You don't know these things. You don't know things you shouldn't say, what you should say, how you should treat a woman. For 20 years, you were just MIA. Yeah, he was MIA, and he didn't have a woman beside him to teach him some things. He didn't. He didn't have him. Now he don't know nothing. Now he's over here telling Jasmine to slap him. That's what he's used to. That's what he's used to. He's used to the Felinas of the world, cussing them out and slapping them, but not showing him and teaching them how to treat another woman. That's what he's used to. He's used to a woman for sex, big booties and a smile, slapping him and cussing him out. And now he's trying to turn the church girl into that. Ain't nobody got time to teach Eris, and he's already 40 years old. When will we get the whole Eris? 50 years old? I gotta wait 10 years to get a mature husband? Goodness. It's too late, Eris. It is too late. When he came from this little retreat, talking about how good he felt, and I felt so good at the retreat because I won the King Award. And I think, this is turn over a new leaf. He starts telling Jasmine, I think you can do a little bit more, Jasmine. I think now you can reach for my hand. We can hug and we can, peck. Jasmine's on the after party. She says now they are doing a little bit more of that. They hold hands, they'll hug, they'll peck. And, Eris is like, you can do that now because before it felt awkward for me, but now you can go ahead and do it. Ugh. Why don't you do it? Why don't you make the move on her? You was the one that wasn't into it in the beginning. Now that you're into it, because I could tell you into it, he ready to hit it, y'all. Why don't you make the move? Why does she now have to make the move once again? She got to take another risk to come out on the ledge or for you to reject her again, or she does it and then you say you didn't like it. Like I said, you got to program him with anything. And the problem with Jasmine is that she's not a programmer because she doesn't talk. She doesn't talk. And he needs a woman who's going to talk and tell him and boss him around and tell him everything to do. That's what she needs. That's what he needs. He needs a woman that's going to boss him around and tell him, Eris, do this, Eris, do that, Eris, do that. Speak up because he knows he needs to be programmed. And he needs a person who's going to do that for him because he can't think of it on his own. But he liked that little pole dance. He was like, take it from the top, make it rain, make it rain, make it rain. At first, when they was in the studio and it was Gina and it was Jasmine, I was like, oh, I hope Eris doesn't start checking out Gina and not Jasmine. That's going to really piss me off. But I was happy to see that what he did was when he came in, he told Gina, you can go ahead and just leave now. You can go ahead and leave. I was happy he did that because I didn't want any kind of scenario where the two of them was doing a whole dance and he's checking out the both of them and he's checking out Gina a little bit too hard because Gina was working that pole and she was working that twerk. So we got a little bit more insight into who Gina really likes. Just like Gina was talking before that she likes R&B music. And now we see her on the pole twerking and doing all this other kind of stuff. And remember, she said she don't like a ginger man. She likes men. I think I figured out Gina a little bit more than what she was letting on early on. She should have just said it from the beginning. She should have put it on her profile or when she came in what she really likes. But the ratty side of Eris started coming out. And he was like, do you need a certification to be a pole dancer? And she's like, I don't think you need that. I don't know what you need. He says, oh, can you just show up at the club? I'm telling you, the way Eris's brain works, I'm telling you, he works in facts and figures and logic. He's like a certification. That's how he is. He's very, very logical, and you've got to help him along the logical chain. He has no emotion. We're talking about a certification for a pole dancer. He doesn't come. I know it was a joke in a lot of ways, but a lot of ways it wasn't. It's kind of how Eris thinks. It's why he was also telling Jasmine that he wants her to read more, because I think Eris believes he's this sort of intellectual person, but yet he's also this a sexual person he talks about, and he's waiting to be, invigorated and stimulated by both ends. But because Jasmine doesn't speak, she doesn't necessarily stimulate him also, I think, sometimes intellectually in what she wants to talk about. And I think that's one of the things he also does want. I think Eris is one of these men who wants this sort of intellectual woman, but also wants this sort of like freak in the bedroom. I think that's what he's looking for. And because Jasmine doesn't speak, he looks at this as her not being having a conversation. But I don't think Jasmine's unintelligent. One of the things I saw about Jasmine when she was signing her name with that soothsayer is that she's a lefty. She's a lefty. And one of the things I know about lefties are they actually are very deep thinkers. I think there's some studies behind lefties and how they think and different things. So I believe that that is a part of Jasmine, but I believe a lot of it didn't come out because of how she felt initially with Eris. She didn't feel safe. She didn't feel comfortable. I think that we didn't get to see a lot of the personality as Jasmine because Jasmine went into a shell. She went into a cave. But I do believe there's this part of Jasmine that she does have a little bit of snapback. She can't say a few things, right? And I'm telling you, I believe that if Eris hadn't started the way he had started, I think he would have got a completely different Jasmine. Just like I said with Kirsten and Shaq, I think if Kirsten hadn't started the way she started, their relationship would have done differently. And the same thing I say about Gina. If Gina hadn't started the way she started, I think even she and Clint could have turned out differently. Any of you guys out there dating, the worst way to start off any relationship is putting down a person. You put them down and you think just because it wasn't bad to you, you can get over it. People don't get over it that fast. It's not that easy, especially when you haven't developed a level of trust with that person. You just can't come out talking bad about them. That was a hole they could never, ever get out of. And I think we would have got a different Jasmine because I see parts of her, just like I see parts of Gina, I see parts of Shaq and Kirsten, but a lot of these parts of them were put into the cave, buried in the ground when they were first rejected from their partners and their real selves couldn't come out soon enough in the marriage. That's what I think. I don't think Jasmine is as quiet as Eris thinks she is. You know, one of the things that Soothsayer said was when he wrote his name down, she said his first name is strong, but his last name gets weak. She was like, you have a strong start, but a weak finish. That would sum up Eris. Probably that might be how he is in the bedroom too. That might be another reason why he's scared. A strong start and a weak finish. He appears to be strong and all this other kind of stuff, but really in the end, he's weak. I told y'all that from the beginning that one of the reasons why he did what he did was because he's suffering from some self-esteem and confidence problems himself. But he tries to come off as if he is strong, but in deep down inside, there's a lot of fear going on with Eris, and that's what really jacked him up. And when they went to this soothsayer, next thing you know, he's got to talk to dead people again. I said, not again. Are we really going to talk to dead people? But at least this time, we were talking to the great-great-grandmother, and she came on through and told him, you know what, Jasmine's a wonderful woman. She's the one I like the most out of all the women you've been with. And I'm getting fearful for you that you may never make it there because these last women you've been dating, they have not been worth anything. That's what that great-grandmother was saying from the grave. And all this time when he's been having the daddy around his neck and the obituary on his deck, maybe he should have been listening to the dead great-grandmama because she seems to be the one that wants him to move forward, and him hanging on to the death of his father and his friend. That's the one keeping him in the past. If he's got to be connected to dead people, I'm going to vote that he gets connected to the great-grandmother. That's what I'm going to say. Eris, if you listen to me and you got to be connected to a person that's already deceased, connect to your great-grandmother because she seemed to have the best advice. Get rid of the necklace around your neck with your father. Get rid of the obituary. Put it in a nice, beautiful little safe keep box. Keep it in your house somewhere. Look at it every once in a while, but take it off your neck because it's keeping you stuck in your past and you're not able to move forward. And your great-grandmother is telling you it's time to move forward. It is time to move forward. But the soothsayer where Jasmine first talked about she's scary and she's not bold enough and she's hanging on to stuff. And Jasmine said, yeah, that's it. That's all of me. I'm doing all of that. And that all happened because of the really, really bad start. It really is. And I tell you, it was such a bad beginning of this marriage and they were never, ever able to recover. And the problem that when you do this much damage early in a relationship, then you feel like once you're ready to come back, it should be 50-50. Nope. You got to go above and beyond and make up for what you made up. And that's what I don't like about Eris right now is I think he is more attracted to Jasmine now. But now what he wants her to do is he wants her to come back in the game and start doing 50-50 of the work. But no, you messed it up in the beginning. You really now have to carry the majority of the load. You have to carry the majority load. And that's what Kirsten also doesn't want to do with Shaq, that she messed it up in the beginning so bad. Now Shaq is over here being just as picky, and he wants her to do all the work and even more work. And she's saying, well, why do I have to do this much work? Sometimes you got to do more work because you was the one that messed it up in the beginning. Sometimes that's the way it looks. And now you got Gina over here saying the same thing, talking about she don't feel much of a wife. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. Well, you messed it up in the beginning. You got to do the majority of the work. But what she's doing, nothing. So you got three people. You got Eris, you got Kirsten, and you got Gina, who all messed up their marriages in the beginning. And now that they're ready to come around a little bit, drop a few walls, now they all of a sudden want their partners to step up and do some more and do more work. Nope. That y'all started this mess, and now that's why you have to do more work than them, and you don't want to do the work. It's happening in all three of those marriages, and now that's what you got Eris over here talking about. You can make a move and hold my hand. He ready to hit it with Jasmine. He really is, but he wants her to make the move to do it. And I'm like, no, she ain't gonna do it. One is she's not gonna do it, and no, he's not gonna do it. What's gonna be decision day? I already know that Jasmine is gonna say yes on the decision day. I already know for sure. Jasmine is going to say yes on decision day. I'm still waiting to see what Eris is going to do, because I'm not fully believing that Eris has enough to say yes on decision day. And remember, he's logical. He's logical. He's not emotion. Emotional person might say, you know what? I'm starting to feel emotion. I'm going to go with my emotion and I'm going to say yes on decision day. But Eris is so logical and has to be so programmed. Who's going to program Eris to say yes? Who's the new software developer that's going to come in and program Eris to say yes? His Fatlina ain't going to say it. Nobody on his side of the family is going to say it. So who's going to be the one to tell Eris to say yes on decision day and program him? And Jasmine isn't going to tell him to say yes. She ain't going to say it. So more than likely, even with this little bit of feeling he's having, it's not going to be enough to override his logic, his program in his head, and say yes. I think we're going to get a no out of Eris, and we're going to get a yes out of Jasmine. That's what I'm thinking right now. But I'll see. Anyway, that's it, y'all. Watch my other videos. I'll talk to you later. Bye.